Brothers and sisters in the Lord, on this day, as we celebrate the feast of Our Lady of Fatima, I ask you to please pray. Pray for peace in the Holy Land. There is a war presently going on between the Israelis and the Palestinians. And please continue to pray also for Myanmar. I entitled this reflection this evening, Departures and Arrivals. We do not have a story of the Ascension in the Gospel of John. What we have instead is a long discourse by Jesus at the Last Supper, where he is suddenly saying goodbye to his disciples. In fact, for the past few days now, we have been reading from this Ultimo Adios. You're familiar with Ultimo Adios of Jose Rizal, but probably not with Ultimo Adios of Jesus, the farewell address of Jesus in John's Gospel. Today, we have just read a portion of that goodbye speech. Jesus said, "A little while, and you will not see me. And again, a little while, and you will see me." In the vocabulary of St. Luke, the little while that we will not see him, that is about the Ascension. And the little while that we will see him again, that is going to be Pentecost. Jesus also assures them and says, "You will weep and mourn while the world rejoices. You will grieve, but your grief will turn into joy." And you know, St. Paul says that differently in his first letter to the Thessalonians. He says, "We do not want you to be unaware about those who have fallen asleep." Of course, he's talking about those who have died or passed on. He says, "So that you may not grieve like the rest who have no hope." Meaning, okay lang na magluksa. Yes, you grieve. But make sure it is a grief with hope. Huwag mawawalan ng pag-asa. For Jesus, part of being a good disciple is learning how to say goodbye. You know, maybe because goodbye can be painful, especially for the one who is leaving. When the one is leaving, who is leaving, is someone very dear to you. We generally prefer to welcome loved ones who are arriving than to see them go. Mas masarap ang sumasalubong sa dumarating kesa naghahatid sa mga umaalis na mga mahal sa buhay. Hello sounds more pleasant than goodbye. Maybe that is why airport terminals usually have larger spaces for people welcoming the arriving passengers and relatively smaller spaces or areas for people saying goodbye to the departing passengers. In my long experience of traveling, I have gotten used to watching the dramas that usually happen in the departure areas of the airport terminals, especially among our OFWs, overseas Filipino workers. The one who is leaving usually pretends to be rushing and avoids looking into the eyes of his wife or his children. On the other hand, the ones who are saying goodbye are also fidgeting very awkwardly, especially when they're about to be overcome already by their emotions. Minsan, they would say things like, sige na, pumasok ka na. Baka ma-miss mo pa yung flight mo. You better go in now. Otherwise, you might miss your flight. Unconsciously, they try to make the parting or leave-taking as quick as possible so as not to prolong the agony. I have seen husbands or wives breaking into tears as soon as they enter the immigration area where they are no longer visible to their loved ones. On some of those occasions, kahit hindi ko sila kilala personally, I don't know, I could not bear not to approach and give a consoling word or even a tap on the shoulder or a little wad of Kleenex tissue. And they usually appreciate it, especially when they note through my clerical shirt that I am a priest. They say, "Salamat po, Father." There is a song that says, "The trouble with hello is goodbye." And my reaction to that is, why? Why should it be a trouble to say goodbye? If we know that at some point, we all have to go anyway. Di ba? In Pinoy culture, it is not polite to show up in a party and then just disappear without even saying goodbye. Imagine nakipag-party ka, kumain ka, tapos biglang nag-disappear ka, niho. That's impolite. Kaya nga in Filipino, we call goodbye paalam. Paalam. Ipaalam mo. Literally, it means let them know that you are going. Ipaalam mo na aalis ka na. Somehow, the goodbye is meant to assuage the pain of separation. We are usually able to do it with the regular partings that we experience in life to let people know we're going. I suppose, mas mahirap when it is already about the ultimate goodbye of death. When our loved ones open it up at table, kunyari, kumakain kayo, tapos biglang sasabihin ni tatay, pagpatay na ako. Biglang, usually we feel awkward about that. And some people even react and say, please, stop it. Tama na yan. I don't want to hear about it. Kasi we usually consider death a morbid topic. Change the topic. Even if we all know, it will come. Whether we like it or not. Diba? Kaya nga ang tawag dyan sa English, the inevitable. Hindi maiiwasan. No one is exempted from it. Alam nyo, ito yung isa sa mga pribilehyo namin bilang mga pare. We have a license to talk about it. Sa amin, hindi bawal. And it is supposed to be part of our duties and responsibilities as your spiritual leaders to be able to initiate or perhaps even facilitate such conversations. Na-experience ko na yan. In one family, they asked me na mag-facilitate para mapag-usapan yung mga habilin ng magulang sa kanilang mga anak pagpatay na sila. The masses that we celebrate for the dead, kahit ang tawag natin misa sa patay, ay hindi lamang para sa mga patay. They're not just masses for the departed ones, but also for the living, the ones who are left behind, the ones who have yet to figure out how to get on with their lives after this loss, and how their faith can help them grieve, but grieve with hope, grieve meaningfully. Jesus, began his farewell address with the words of assurance. Sabi niya, do not let your hearts be troubled. And he addresses that which troubles us about ultimate departures, our uncertainty about what is to follow. Kasi we do not know what lies ahead. One of the best analogies for dying is birthing. Siguro nabasa ninyo minsan yung isang Facebook page ko, yung Facebook post ko, na isang talinghaga, a parable. Ang title niya, Life After Delivery. Hindi naman ako nagsulat nun. Ako lang yung nag-translate sa Tagalog. Ganito yung parable. Sabi niya, in a mother's womb, 2 babies, ibig sabihin kambal, a pair of twins, were engaged in a discussion inside the in the womb, about birthing. One of the two asked the other, do you believe that there is life after delivery? The other baby replied, Siyempre naman, of course. There has to be something after delivery. Maybe we are here to prepare ourselves for what will come later. Well, to cut the long story short, they argue with each other. Let me just quote the latter part. Sabi nung first baby, if there is really life waiting for us out there, how come no one has ever come back here from there? Delivery must be the end of life. And in the after delivery, there must be nothing but darkness and silence and oblivion. It will take us nowhere. Sumagot naman yung second baby. Sabi niya, well, I don't know. But I certainly believe that when we will meet Mother, or that is when we will meet Mother, and she will take care of us. And the first baby replied, Mother? You actually believe that there is a mother? If mother exists, where is she now? And the other baby said in reply, I think she is all around us, that we are surrounded by her, that we are of her, that it is in her that we live. Without her, this world would not and could not exist. And the first one argued again. Sabi niya, but we don't see her. So how can you even claim that she exists? And his twin sibling said, sometimes when you are in silence and you focus and listen, you can feel her presence. You can hear her loving voice calling us, calling down from above. Maganda, no? Don't you think this must be one of the best explanations of the concept of afterlife?